You are 27 years old when a radio operator in Warsaw tells you the Gestapo has arrested you. Not someone who looks like you, not someone using a similar name. You. Or at least the man is carrying documents with your underground code name. You stare at the operator for several seconds. Then you ask the obvious question, how? He does not understand why you are smiling. According to German records, you died in France in 1940. There is a death certificate. There was a notice sent to your family. As far as the occupation authorities are concerned, you have been dead for almost 4 years, which is useful because dead men are rarely promoted to captain. Your real name is Alexander Zielinski. Inside the Armia Krajowa, most people know you only as Wire. You are a Kapitan now, responsible for keeping several underground radio links alive and helping coordinate sabotage against German railway traffic around Warsaw. 3 years earlier, you did not know how to command a platoon. 5 years earlier, you had never fired a pistol at another human being. In August 1939, the most complicated network you were responsible for was a railway signaling system. You were 22. You worked with relays, track circuits, signal lamps, and electrical cabinets that smelled like dust and hot metal. Your father, Piotr, had worked on the railway longer than you had been alive. Your mother thought the job was respectable. Your younger sister thought it was boring. And your fiancée, Marta, complained that you could repair half the railway lines in Warsaw, but somehow never remembered when you promised to meet her. On August 31st, she tells you not to work late, you promise. Before sunrise the next morning, Germany invades Poland. Within days, your railway knowledge becomes military knowledge. Your infantry unit is constantly moving. March, dig, wait, move again. Orders arrive late. Telephone lines are cut by artillery. Radios fail. Messengers disappear on roads crowded with refugees, horses, trucks, artillery, and men trying to find units that no longer exist, where the map says they should be. At first, you carry a rifle. Then a field telephone stops working. You open the casing. A sergeant asks what you are doing, trying to make it less broken. It works. After that, every time something with wires fails, somebody finds you. A radio loses power. Zielinski. A field line is cut. Zielinski. Headquarters cannot reach a company 2 villages away. Zielinski. You begin the campaign as another infantryman. You become useful because communication is always failing. For a few days in September, the Polish counterattack along the Bzura gives everyone something they desperately need: hope. You move forward instead of backward. Villagers come outside. Soldiers joke again. Someone says the Germans are finally retreating. Then German aircraft appear. Artillery follows. The roads fill again. The direction changes again. On September 17th, you are helping repair a radio when the operator suddenly stops writing. He turns toward the officer beside him. Soviets cross the eastern border. Nobody answers. Germany is advancing from the west. The Soviet Union is moving from the east. Your sister has relatives near Lwów. You have no idea whether she is with them. You have no idea where Marta is. You have no idea whether your parents are still in Warsaw. For the first time, fixing the radio feels useless. There is nobody left to call who can make the situation better. Your unit fights toward Warsaw. By the time you reach the city, entire streets look unfamiliar. Windows are gone. Buildings burn. Water stops running in some districts. Soldiers and civilians carry rubble together because the front line is no longer somewhere outside the city. It is the city. Warsaw surrenders on September 28th. You find your parents 2 days later. Your sister is alive. Marta is alive. That feels like victory, until your father tells you to leave. You refuse. He tells you again. You can repair radios. So there is still a Polish army somewhere. You need me here. Piotr looks around the damaged apartment. No, here I need a son. Poland needs something else. You leave in civilian clothes. There is no dramatic farewell. Marta kisses you once in a dark stairwell and gives you a piece of paper with an address written on it. What is this? Someone who can help with documents. You already know people like that, she looks at you. Everybody knows people like that now. You move south through guides, safe houses, railway stations, checkpoints, and the kindness of strangers whose names you deliberately try not to remember. Eventually you reach Hungary, then France. Months after losing Warsaw, you find yourself walking past cafes full of people arguing about ordinary things. You hate them for it. Not because they have done anything wrong, because they still believe ordinary life is permanent. You join the Polish forces being rebuilt in France. This time, nobody gives you a simple rifleman's job. Your record says communications. So communications it is. Then May 10th, 1940 arrives. Germany attacks in the west. You watch the same disease spread through another army. Headquarters move before messages arrive. Roads clog. Telephone links disappear. Orders describe situations that stopped existing hours earlier. A French soldier tells you not to worry. France is not Poland. You have heard different versions of that sentence before. Weeks later, your section loses contact with its officers during the retreat. For several hours, nobody knows who is in charge. Finally, everyone looks at you. You are not the highest-ranking man. You are simply the one who still knows where the surviving units are. You organize runners. You ration batteries. You establish a temporary relay point, then another. You get 23 men to the coast. Nobody pins a medal on you. Nobody calls it heroic. You were just the person who kept information moving, while everything else was falling apart. When the ship takes you to Britain, France disappears behind you. One soldier beside you watches the coastline fade. How many countries are we going to lose? You answer without looking at him. Hopefully we run out of countries before Germany does. In Britain, you receive officer training. First, you learn how to give orders. Then you learn how difficult it is to give orders when the person receiving them may die because you were wrong. You become a junior lieutenant, later, lieutenant. But Britain is full of waiting. You have already waited in Poland. You waited in France. You do not want your third war to begin with another German invasion. Then an officer asks for volunteers. He does not explain much. Special training. Possible return to occupied Poland. Parachute insertion. Clandestine operations. Communications. Sabotage. Intelligence. No guarantee of assignment. No guarantee of survival. You sign before he reaches the last part. The men will later be known as Cichociemni, the silent unseen. Training changes everything. You jump from aircraft at night. You learn explosives. You learn how little explosive is actually necessary when you understand where to place it. You learn codes that must exist only in your memory. You learn how to transmit quickly, because every additional second on the radio gives German direction-finding teams another chance to locate you. You learn to recognize surveillance. You learn false names, false employment histories, false relatives, false reasons for being nervous. You learn that looking brave is suspicious. Looking ordinary keeps you alive. During training, a letter reaches you through Polish channels. Your mother believes you are dead. You read the sentence twice, then a third time. The official notice says you were killed during the campaign in France. You go to headquarters furious. I am standing here. The officer does not seem impressed. Yes. Then correct it. No. You stare at him. He slides the document back across the desk. Someone inside occupied Poland helped create the record. Your death is useful. German police asked questions about your family after you escaped Poland. Now they have an answer. Alexander Zielinski died in France. Case closed. The officer looks at you. A living Polish officer returning from Britain is dangerous. He taps the death certificate. A dead railway technician is much safer. In late 1943, you climb into an aircraft carrying equipment, money, forged documents, a pistol, and a radio component wrapped against the cold. Hours later, the light changes. You jump. For the first time since September 1939, you are moving toward Poland instead of away from it. You land badly. Your knee hurts. Your mouth is full of dirt. A reception team appears from the darkness. A woman gives the password. You answer. She steps closer. You recognize her voice before her face. Your sister. 5 years ago, she complained that railway signals were boring. Now she carries a pistol under her coat and tells you to stop staring. You got old. So did you. Not officially. Officially, you're dead. She does not let you visit your parents. Not yet. She does not let you visit Marta either. You survive the parachute. Try not to die because you miss your mother. Your assignment begins with 1 radio team, then 2, then 4. You move transmitters between apartments, attics, workshops, basements. Sometimes a radio operates from one location for only a few minutes before it is packed into a suitcase and carried somewhere else. You help coordinate information going out and instructions coming back. You also work with sabotage teams targeting railway traffic used by the German military. That part feels familiar. Tracks, signals, schedules, junctions. Only now your job is not keeping trains moving. Sometimes your job is making sure one never arrives. Your father still works on the railway. Neighbors call him a collaborator. German trains move because Polish railway workers still operate switches, signals, and timetables. For several weeks, even your sister does not know what to believe. Then your father secretly hands you freight schedules, troop movements, maintenance windows, routes. He has been giving information to the underground. Sometimes he delays shipments. Sometimes he creates small problems that look accidental. And sometimes he does exactly what the Germans order. You hate that part. You send their trains. If I stop, they replace me. With another Pole. With someone who doesn't give you the timetable first. You want resistance to look clean. It does not. One of your radio operators, Marek, disappears. 2 days later, a safe apartment is raided. Everyone assumes the same thing. Marek talked. You prepare to move the entire network. Then he returns. His wife has been arrested. The Gestapo offered to let him see her in exchange for information. He gave them one real address. An address your team had already abandoned. Then he gave them 3 false ones. Did you betray us, you ask? He looks exhausted. Yes. Did you save us? Yes. You finally understand why command becomes heavier as your rank increases. A private asks whether an order is dangerous. An officer has to decide whether the danger is worth somebody else's life. Your network survives. More cells are placed under your responsibility. You are promoted. Poruchnik becomes Kapitan, captain. It sounds important. Then August 1st, 1944 arrives. At 5 p.m., Warsaw rises. Polish flags appear. Barricades go up. For a few hours, the city feels Polish again. Then the German response comes. Artillery, aircraft, armor, mass executions. Districts are cut off from each other. Your radios become more important exactly as they become harder to operate. One station loses electricity. Another loses its antenna. A courier does not return. A sabotage group asks for explosives. London asks for reports. A fighting unit asks for batteries. You have enough equipment to solve one problem, maybe 2. Everybody calls you Kapitan. For the first time, you hate the word. Captain cannot create ammunition. Captain cannot create food. Captain cannot force reinforcements across the Vistula. Captain cannot turn a radio message into an army. You keep the network alive anyway, not because you believe it will win the uprising, because people are still depending on it. By September, you move through Warsaw's sewers with water near your waist, and darkness so complete you keep one hand on the man in front of you. Nobody talks much. There is nothing left to say. After 63 days, the uprising ends. You spend the final months of the war as a prisoner. Germany collapses in May 1945. You return to Warsaw. The Germans are gone. That does not mean your problems are. The new Soviet-backed authorities are deeply suspicious of the Armia Krajowa. You are questioned. An official places two documents on the table. One describes underground communications and sabotage activity linked to a man using your code name. The other is your death certificate from 1940. He looks at the first paper, then the second, then at you. This says Alexander Zelensky died in France. You look at the document Marta helped create years earlier. For once, you say, German paperwork was useful. He does not laugh. Later you walk past a damaged railway signal half buried beside a ruined section of track. 5 years ago, you would have stopped, opened the cabinet, checked the relay, found the broken connection. Now you keep walking. You spent the war trying to keep one connection alive after another, between soldiers, between cities, between London and Warsaw, between people who trusted each other and people who had reasons not to. Eventually you learn something no training course in Britain could teach you. Some systems can be repaired, some cannot, and sometimes surviving means knowing the difference.